Ever since it was first announced, Y2K, a postmodern RPG, has been on my radar and I've been looking forward to playing it. But now that I just finished it, was Y2K worth getting hyped over, or was it a big to-do over nothing? Y2K is a surreal turn-based RPG, very much inspired by Earthbound, from its setting, quirkiness like finding food in trash cans, and even enemy types. However, it does do enough to stand out on its own. It has a unique battle system in the way that you level up, and you combine everything here to make a game that I think many will love, and there will be quite a few who won't. The setting of 1999 is quite evident with the amount of nostalgia they try to cram in with references to pop culture and video games, mentioning the likes of Chrono Trigger and other such classics that some of course inspired this title. The game stars Alex, a main character that, unlike many RPG protagonists, is not only not silent, he almost never shuts up. There's a ton of dialogue in this game. I mean, these characters just talk and talk and talk. Especially Alex and his inner monologue. It pretty much goes from the moment you turn on the game to the ending credits. If Alex was a likable main character to me, then this would have been perfectly fine, but Alex unfortunately just comes off as entitled, pretentious, and overall the writing in general just really didn't do a lot for me. The other main characters, though, I will say are much better than the main one. There are going to be those that relate to Alex, though, and may like him more as a character than I did, and he does become better as the game goes on, but those first few hours in particular made me dislike him so much that it hurt the game later on, and even though he does develop, I didn't really care as much. In my reviews, I always try to avoid spoilers as much as possible for the plot, so with that, we're going to move on to the other aspects of the game that really make Y2K stand out. The battle system. It's a turn-based one, but each character basically has a minigame for their attack. Alex has a record player that as it spins, you have light-up sections that you can press to build up a combo. It's very much reminiscent of one of my all-time favorite JRPG series, Shadow Hearts and its Judgment Ring system, and every one of the characters in the game does have a different one of these minigames for you to use in the battles. The thing about this is, though, there's going to be a lot of people that don't like this. While I enjoy this aspect, it makes battles a lot longer, it makes them inconsistent and sometimes much more difficult than necessarily need to be, especially if you're somebody who really isn't the best at timing minigames. The dungeons in the game, though, do contain an interesting variety of puzzles, some much more challenging and more annoying than others, with me getting stuck a few times for 10, 15, or 20 minutes trying to figure everything out. You have a tool system that you're able to switch between items and dungeons that can help you solve the game's various puzzles. The thing I end up liking the least about Y2K, though, is the level up system. You have to go to a phone, go into the mine dungeon, and then you have these different doors that you have to enter to represent the different stat points. It just is really tedious. Cool the first time, and I thought, wow, this is really cool, but having to do it every single level, it really makes parts of the game end up dragging, when there's already a lot of other parts of the game that also make it drag. Battles tend to take longer than they really should, especially the farther and farther you make it into the game. And you do need to do them because leveling up is essential if you have any chance of beating some of the later game bosses and such. There's a lot of little loading screens. Every little thing has to load up, and even though the loading only takes a second or two, just the amount of them is enough to make things drag. Then there's the puzzles. While some of them are quite enjoyable, a lot of the times they don't give you any sort of hint and expect you sometimes to use mechanics that they haven't either explained or used ever before that spot that you now need to use it in. It's not all bad. The visuals, music, and the battle system, when it worked and there wasn't some stuttering and other issues, was enjoyable enough to make me see Y2K through to the end. From the technical side of things, the game didn't crash on me, but I did run into a lot of bugs that thankfully a lot have been patched already since the game initially ended up coming out. I've been playing it pre-launch and now post-launch, so they've been pretty adamant about fixing the problems with the title. I feel it's going to be more on the gameplay itself that could prevent you from liking this one than necessarily the bugs that now still exist. Y2K, a postmodern RPG, is available now on the PlayStation 4, Nintendo Switch, and PC for $19.99, and a Vita version is still scheduled to come out in the near future. It does have a Platinum on the PS4. I've been waiting to get my hands on Y2K ever since it was first announced, and unfortunately I am a bit disappointed, but I still think there's a lot to love about the game. I can see it becoming a cult classic, some people's favorite game maybe even this year. However, I just see there's so many flaws that the title has that prevents me from really recommending it to a huge audience. With everything said, I'm going to be giving Y2K a 6 out of 10. That's going to wrap up this review though. I'd like to thank you for watching, and of course, I hope you enjoyed.